So third time is a charm. I'm relaunching this channel. Hopefully, definitively, I'm going to be able to put out videos at least one a week. I am still going to finish up my books on Francis Fukuyama's Identity and Richard Haas's World in Disarray. And I'm going to add to this, I'm going to go cycling through these 3 books. John Mearsheimer's The Great Delusion. It is also a book about U.S. foreign policy. It makes a nice contrast with what we're going to see in Richard Haas's book. So the book briefly gives us an overview of all the failings of the U.S. during the 2000s and 2010s. So it starts talking about Iraq, Afghanistan, the progressive deterioration of the relationship between the United States and Russia, that in 2014, Russia invaded Crimea. Basically, the United States was blindsided by this and did not do anything about it in the first place. And also, this book is prior to the war of Ukraine. So this book actually explains pretty well how we got to the situation we are nowadays with the relationship between the United States and Russia. This book was written prior to the Russian invasion of 2019, but it does a fantastic job in explaining how we got to that situation in the first place. So the author just talks about how the United States doesn't really know its role in the world and its place and how to act, and basically what the hell went wrong, because we're the clear winners of the Cold War. There was only optimism during the 90s. So the main premise of this book is the conflict and friction between the concepts of liberalism, nationalism, and realism. So it goes quite deep into theoretical terrain in international relations. So the writer wants to contrast these 3 isms and especially focus on the fact that liberalism and that liberal mindset in international relations has failed the United States. This is the paradigm that has conditioned the United States worldview in the 2000s and the 2010s. And this actually started off immediately after the end of the Cold War, where the United States stood victorious as the lone superpower in the world stage. That over time, U.S. foreign policy started to go for this concept of liberal hegemony, where we would have the U.S. push countries left and right to become liberal democracies, have them open up their economies on an international level and to international trade, push for the creation or growth of more and more international organizations and institutions. So the basic idea was to remake the world in their image, that this would lead to a more peaceful and prosperous world. Also, there was a great deal of focus on nuclear proliferation and on the violation of human rights. But this stance in the world put the United States at odds with countries that use the focus of nationalism and realism. So the author explains that the United States is a deeply liberal country and it has a knee-jerk attitude towards nationalism and realism. It just doesn't understand it. And the author actually mentions that liberalism within a country, within its domestic politics, works really well. The mistake is to use it in international relations. But when U.S. political elites go into the realm of international relations, they bring this baggage of liberalism and it adds to their worldview. So the main idea of this book is to recommend the U.S. a more restrained international policy, more focused on realism, and that political elites need to really understand nationalism, how it works, how to be able to work around this. So this is a brief introduction to this book that we're going to, again, focus on in a series of videos. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.